Welcome to Regional of Solutions, the ESCAP podcast where we explore how countries across Asia and the Pacific are working together to tackle the region's most pressing challenges. I'm Veronika Verner. Today, we turn our attention to the ocean. The ocean produces more than half the oxygen we breathe, provides food and livelihoods for billions of people, and plays a vital role in regulating our climate. Yet, climate change is putting immense pressure on marine ecosystems, threatening not only biodiversity but also our health, economies, and communities. As ocean-based climate action has only recently been placed on the agenda of the international climate change process, momentum is building. The Sharm el-Sheikh Implementation Plan, adopted at COP27 in 2022, encouraged countries to include ocean-based action in their national climate goals, including their NDCs. This was a critical step in recognizing the central role of the ocean in reaching net zero emissions and strengthening resilience. To further unpack this topic, we are joined today by our ESCAP colleagues Manuel, Castillo, and Romain Schumm from the Environment and Development Division, and Teerapong, Praphotjanaporn from the Statistics Division. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself? What first inspired you to work on protecting our oceans?
Two main areas I'm working on: the international ocean negotiations, and we are following some international processes like the negotiations for a treaty on the high seas or the Kunming-Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework, etc. But I'm also working at the regional level by supporting our member states in their work or project or initiative related to the ocean.
Well, I started in the UN system through the YPP program several years ago, and I have a personal connection to the ocean ecosystem, but it's also a professional interest, so it's a great combination.
I joined the Statistics Division of ESCAP in 2010, and over the years, I've had the opportunity to work across many areas like nutrition, education, gender, tourism, the environment, and more. But when I turned to ocean issues, I realized something very different. Unlike other area statistics, there were essentially no established statistical standards for ocean data statistics. Is what led ESCAP to begin developing the Ocean Accounts framework, and I was fortunate to be part of the drafting team.
It's inspiring. So, what solutions are you working on for the region?
The overarching goal is to strengthen ocean governance. And we have a set of normative instruments around them. You have just mentioned in your introduction how important it is to understand the UNFCCC COP framework and the responsibilities of member states with additional commitments on the ocean, strengthening the national action plans and determining contributions, of course. But we have more recent developments, for example, the new BBNJ agreement that addresses areas beyond national jurisdictions as well. And then additional frameworks such as the Kunming-Montreal Biodiversity Framework, which is also a very blue framework, which a very strong ocean component. So I would say that in general, we support member states how to connect their normative frameworks at the national level so that there's harmony with the international frameworks as well.
Because of absence of any statistical guidance on ocean data, ESCAP drafted the Ocean Accounts framework. ESCAP also co-share the Global Ocean Accounts Partnership, the GOAP, who actually took a lot of country-led activities. So far, the main solution that we're working on the framework has been implemented by many countries, not only in Asia-Pacific, but globally.
Of course, the ocean is linked to every other environmental challenges, especially climate change, biodiversity, health, etc. So what we are trying to do at UNESCAP is to build synergies between these different challenges and to make sure that the ocean is not just stand-alone issue, but to connect the ocean issues with all the other environmental challenges.
Let's start with the big picture. Why is the health of the oceans essential to addressing climate change and building more resilient societies?
I think it's a very good question. And to start answering this, I'm just going to quote Ambassador Peter Thompson's mantra. He continuously says that there's no healthy planet without a healthy ocean. And I strongly agree with that. When we talk about environmental health, years ago, we talked about everything being green policies, green economy. And the transition over the past few years has been towards blue. Now we're talking about the blue economy and blue health and the health of the ocean. And this is not just semantics. This is not about being colorblind or focused on one specific ecosystem, but actually the sign has brought us thus far. And now the dynamics is to focus on the ocean, on carbon sinks, because the science tells us that in terms of carbon absorption or sequestration, the ocean is actually more effective. So up to 4 to 5 times more effective than terrestrial ecosystems. So part of the focus on working with the ocean ecosystems is that we're thinking about efficiency, we're to maximize the resources, we're to maximize the positive impact of our policies.
Could you maybe walk us through the 4 pillars of ocean-based climate action?
In 2024, ESCAP member states adopted the Ocean-Based Climate Action Initiative, and it was initiated by Indonesia, Fiji, and Maldives, but now all our member states adopted this initiative. So there are 4 priority areas under this OBCA initiative. First is protecting and enhancing blue carbon ecosystems. The second is on the decarbonization of shipping industry. The third is acceleration of the deployment of ocean-based renewable energy. And the last one is called enhancing ocean climate resilience. So with these 4 areas, we are working on the different main issues according to the climate nexus, especially under the UN FCCC. We are also working on capacity building trainings for our member states, and we are trying to strengthen the cooperation between the different key stakeholders in the region. More generally, we are trying to share expertise and to share science-based recommendations for policymakers in Asia and the Pacific on this crucial ocean and climate nexus.
Ocean accounts are a relatively new idea for many people, including policymakers. How can they help countries make smarter decisions about the future of their oceans?
Yeah, the term was coined in 2019. I believe it's still very new. I just want to start with it this way. Think of your bank book. You have records of your income and expenditure. If you have the record, you know how much money you get, you know how much you spend on what purposes. At the end of the month, you have your saving. And once you have your saving, you know what you want to do with your saving the next month, and so on and so forth. Ocean accounts is exactly the same way. It itself is a framework that guides consistent and integrated records of ocean data. And that includes understanding status of your ocean health, your ocean assets, or the wealth that you have in the ocean, how all these resources actually are used in the economy. You have a holistic understanding of the entire ocean system. It also tells you how much ocean means to your GDP in terms of percentage. It helps you target marine pollution reduction, including marine debris, understanding trade-offs, and support any policy design that balances growth and conservation, and also attract finance to show return on investment on restoration protection.
So, building on that, from your perspective, what promising initiatives or success stories stand out in Asia and the Pacific when it comes to ocean-based climate action?
This year, Indonesia has already adopted and have very clear oceanic coast dashboard that lead to their ocean investment and policy planning. Maldives follow suit, having a very small pilot site that is going to scale into national understanding of their marine areas. Same in Vietnam, same in Fiji. Our region is not only offering solutions, leading in terms of the global community of practice when it comes to ocean accounts as well.
We have been doing great work with the government of the Maldives, supporting them to map out different potential sites for marine protected areas, which is a great asset when we think about carbon sequestration and the opportunities for small island developing states. And just think about the technologies that are available there. We have satellite information that can inform countries on how to collect this data, and not necessarily manually, but also rely on these satellite technologies, remote technologies. And this is also important when we think about critical issues in a region such as sea level rise, and the information that we can get to support countries address the extreme weather events in general. I want to highlight an area of opportunity, actually. We talked about different stakeholders that can support the governments, and think about Asia Pacific as a region of technological solutions as well. We have the private sector that has a very, very strong footprint at the global level, that has the technologies to support governments at all levels of government. So I think that for some of the solutions, we can provide the solutions within a region. It's already here. So having this initiative, it's really an opportunity to strengthen regional collaboration and to support the smaller countries and do some capacity building activities to the countries that need it.
So, looking ahead, what are the most important steps governments, businesses, and communities in the region can take to scale up ocean-based climate action and ensure the ocean continues to sustain us all?
If we want to protect the ocean, we also need to work on climate change, on biodiversity, on health, etc. So that's probably one of the most important things to do if we want to scale up our action is to work with the different mandates and different initiatives and different issues. The second point, the ocean is a big area, of course, so we need to work with all the key stakeholders. And to do that, we need to build strong network with the private sector, with NGOs, with research institutes, with the youth. And we need to push for all hands on deck approach if we want to protect correctly the ocean.
So, we've heard how ocean-based climate action, from restoring blue carbon ecosystems to using ocean accounts in decision-making, can unlock solutions that benefit both people and the planet. Before we wrap up, what is one key message you'd like our listeners to take away from today's conversation?
The science that we produce, the policy briefs are available to anyone. So I would encourage anyone listening to the podcast to check out our policy briefs. We have a lot of information that you can use, be it university students, professors, the youth. We have great resources available, and that they inform member states, but they also inform a wider audience. And part of the solution is in our hands. Governments cannot do everything alone. Everyone has to chip in, and issues such as marine debris, it's not just the government's responsibility to tackle it. And understanding this supports the expedited solution to these problems.
I would say that most of the time we talk about oceans, but at the end of the day, there is only one ocean. So we should keep in mind that there is only one ocean, and that's why we should work all together to protect it.
You've probably heard the saying that you cannot manage what you cannot measure. But for the ocean, I would add that you also cannot manage what is being measured without data standards. New technologies are transforming how we collect ocean data, but without data standards, these advancements remain isolated. When data are collected and shared in standardized formats, they can be integrated with other ocean information and ultimately become far more useful for policy making and ocean sustainable management.
So that brings us to the end of today's episode of A Region of Solutions. A big thank you to our guests for sharing their insights on how protecting the ocean goes hand in hand with addressing climate change and securing a more sustainable future for Asia and the Pacific. Until next time, stay curious, stay engaged, and be a part of a solution for our region.